2020 has been a real shit show, hasn't it? The plague has resurfaced, our favorite media is being delayed, and politics have become so farcical they border on parody. But I'm not gonna get political. Unless you're one of those idiots who thinks things like human life, the well-being of our friends and families, and the safety of the people who look different than us is somehow political. Yeah, this video is going to be a bit different from the other ones on my channel, and this in no way is going to be replacing the content that I usually make, but I felt like I should say a few things. Something's been happening recently that you've probably heard about, that being the death of George Floyd and the ongoing topic of police brutality and racism. And you know what? Good. We need to talk about these things. And I know my platform is minuscule compared to the other people doing their part, and I thought to myself, what can I say that hasn't already been said? Nothing. But I thought I'd go in a different direction and talk about my experience with the police and something else that's kind of asinine. So asinine, it might be Asa 10. Little bit of humor there, this is gonna get dark. So where to begin? Well, what's this? If your answer is a symbol for the police to rally behind, or a reclaimed symbol for the oppressed, congratulations, you're a troglodyte. No, this is the logo of the Punisher, a Marvel Comics character co-created by Jerry Conway in 1974, who's appeared in movies and television to, shall we say, varying success. And let me just say, these movies are terrible. And while I enjoyed him in the second season of Daredevil, his spin-off show seemed to be more interested in turning him into Wolverine than telling a compelling Punisher story. And what's interesting that people tend to forget is that he actually started out as a Spider-Man character, and the stories featuring him tend to be the Punisher's best. So why am I wearing the Punisher logo on my shirt? Easy, I'm a fan of the character. But I'm a fan of the Punisher the same way I'm a fan of Rorschach, Deadpool, or the Joker, where even though what they do is incredibly reckless and highly immoral, in a sick way, you kinda understand their viewpoints and where they're coming from. And are any of them role models? No! And that brings me to this bullshit. Scummy police officers have been using this logo as a sign of unity between them. And this isn't a new development, folks. They've been doing this for a while. And not just cops. The military have been doing it too. And I know there's gonna be excuses like, well, the Punisher was a public servant who fought an instant war here and had to do his job, whether or not people liked him for it. Stop! What's the one thing the Punisher, Rorschach, Deadpool, and the Joker have in common? They're insane. And by the looks of what's happening in the US today with police, maybe y'all are too. It might be time to take a step back, do a complete police reform, you know? Teach them de-escalation tactics, perhaps stop racial profiling? And I know what you're thinking. Matt, you're a white SJW cuck that doesn't know shit about what he's talking about. All right, strap in. It's story time. For the sake of brevity, let's just say I grew up in an abusive household, leading to PTSD. So if you see me doing some hard blinks like this, you now know why. Maybe someday I'll go further into it, and I've hinted at this in the past, but I'll just focus on two things, and this one pertains to that. When I was 17, I heard my parents fighting in their bedroom. My mom was screaming that my dad was hurting her. Now, I'm not a strong guy, and I was an even smaller teenager. So I called the police, I threatened my dad with a knife, and he ran out. When the police finally showed up, my dad wasn't there, and my mom lied and said it was nothing. Then the whole conversation became about me threatening my dad with a knife. Here's where it gets weirder. They kept calling me by my last name, Ammar. For those of you who don't know, I'm Egyptian on my dad's side, and at the time, we lived in the middle of racist meth country, Victorville and Hesperia. They told me to be more careful, because next time, if there was any talk of a weapon, they would shoot. Again, I was trying to save my mom from being beaten, maybe even killed by my dad, yet I was the problem? Another incident I had with the police was in 2012, when I was driving home to Irvine from an Oscar party in Huntington Beach, two of the most racist, corrupt cities in Orange County. At the time I was driving my grandma's old Ford Contour, and it had one major problem. The gas indicator didn't work. So right when I reached Irvine, my car just ran out of gas, so I called AAA. After a few minutes of waiting, I heard some people yelling in the neighborhood that I was adjacent to, but I paid it no mind. I just started surfing the web on my phone, waiting for AAA to show up. A few more minutes passed, and then I noticed that there was a cop car sitting behind me. And even though I had nothing to hide, I tried my best not to look suspicious. Then 2 more cop cars showed up, lights on, sirens blaring, and the first cop, over the megaphone, asked me to exit the vehicle. So I did. But when I got out, I saw something I wasn't expecting. His gun was drawn on me. I panicked and I threw my hands up and I told him that my car broke down. But he interrupted me and he said, "Hey, no sudden movements. Keep your hands where I can see them." So I kept them up. But then he said, "I said put your hands on the vehicle." And 2 thoughts ran through my mind. 1, no you didn't. And 2, I'm fucking dead. So I put my hands on the vehicle, but the other cop said, "Hands up or we will shoot." I was terrified. It was all over, and all because I ran out of gas. Luckily, right at that moment, the AAA tow truck turned right around the corner. The cops approached us, and while the AAA guy was filling up my tank, they said they ran my plates and said that the car belonged to my grandma. I even lived with her at the time, so my driver's license address matched hers. And like last time, one of the cops called me Ammar. Like, it's clearly my last name on my license. How stupid do you have to be? They finally let me go, but I noticed one of them was trailing me all the way back to my grandma's house. He pulled me over right outside of where I lived and then told me not to let it happen again. Let what happen again? Run out of gas? And I still have no idea if the screaming I heard was related, or if a 1999 Ford Contour is suspicious in a nice neighborhood. But with them calling me Ammar and treating me the way that they did, it doesn't matter. There's a clear problem with police abusing their power. Now, why do I bring this all up? My experience with the police? Because if I could be treated that way, looking the way that I do, imagine how much harder it is for the people who actually look different. We see that abundantly clear in the cases of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. It's sick, and there needs to be change. The police are supposed to serve and protect. And when the people who are supposed to serve and protect idolize a character like the Punisher, whose entire deal is that he's a mass murderer who guns down anyone he perceives to be a criminal, that's a terrifying thought. Now, people have been demanding that Marvel and Disney do something about the police and military adopting the logo as their own. But they already have, in last year's Punisher number 13. In this issue, the Punisher gets stopped by a couple of cops, only to get a selfie and find out they're part of a police movement that idolizes him. They show him a decal of his logo on their car, to which he proceeds to tear it to pieces, telling them, "You boys need a role model? His name is Captain America, and he'd be happy to have you." Now, within the last week or so, Punisher co-creator Jerry Conway took to the internet and said he would be attempting to re-adopt the logo for Black Lives Matter called BLM Skulls for Justice. Stop! The Punisher isn't a hero, he's a murderous psychopath. Now, I know all the proceeds go to charity and his heart's in the right place, so I can't be too mad, but the same principle applies that he isn't a role model. Now, before I go, I wanted to say I left some links below to some charities y'all could support if you can. And also, I know this is a heavier video that I've put together here. It's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here!
What's here? Oh, The Last of Us 2 Collector's Edition? Is that what you're excited about?
No. It's here, it's here, it's here! It's Pasquale's Pizza! Wow! So I'm gonna end this by making fun of some terribly misused redneck Punisher logos found in the wild and sent to this Instagram account that Matt Tabor found. Let's end this with some levity, guys. So Jeremy's putting together a little portfolio for me off camera. Have you found anything good?
Yeah, check this one.
Okay. So this is Bernie Sanders.
He's gonna punish the 1%.
The 1% needs to be punished. Yeah, I'm ready for another one. Wait, Hello Kitty? I've noticed that a lot of redneck women are into Hello Kitty, and a lot of redneck men are into the Punisher, so this is...
It's a match made in heaven.
Yeah. As bad and rednecky as this is kind of cute. So this is the Punisher referring to autistic people. I want to dive a little bit deeper into this. There's these terrible Facebook ads that will take anything of pop culture and turn it into an autistic thing. I've seen Mario. I've definitely seen Sonic. No. Okay, this is something I keep seeing, is what the fuck does the Punisher have to do with trans rights? This isn't even the first one I've seen, Jeremy. On the Jerry Conway website, he has like a shirt that you could buy that's this. And I've seen some of my like LGBT friends on Facebook sharing that they're like selling Punisher trans stickers for like $5. Here's a question. Do you think the Punisher, if a trans person was getting attacked, the Punisher would save them, right?
No, he would be like, fucking, you made your bed, sleep.
He's built for tough.
This is like the Punisher Toyota.
Is that Toyota?
Yeah, it's a Toyota brand.
Oh, I said built for tough. I don't know cars.
No. You might be right.
Actually, I'm probably wrong.
Wait, no, I know. I'm wrong.
No,
Wait,
this is Chevrolet. Oh, yeah. How could we forget? What's more redneck than the Confederate flag? I think I've seen a few Punisher Confederate flags flying around. They're not not as popular as the trans ones. One of my biggest fears is being a redneck. And like I'm a pretty okay-ish fan of the Punisher. But this is what scares me, is my Punisher shirt that I'm wearing right now I got from Walmart. The most rednecky place. It's kind of a baseball tee, though. I think those are a little bit too, like, bougie for him.
Yeah, bougie.
This one's so ingrained into pop culture now, I think. If you read a comic book, I don't think the Punisher would be into Trump at all. Maya's getting sick of it. Alright, I know this video is fucking depressing, but I hope we ended on a positive note. Maya says bye, and I'm just gonna say, cops, rednecks, stop fucking with this character. He's too good for you.